Hello everyone, Compendium released a while ago and Montreal's coming up and Toulouse is coming up, so I thought let's talk a bit about the metagame and the development. I'll talk about the cards that are the most impactful and then I'll make a small tier list to convey my thoughts on the meta a bit. So first of all, most talked about card by far this week, Temporal Wobble. Especially in Oscilio, this card just negates a lot of non-attack actions that used to be really good for Oscilio, like Amulet of Echoes, Goddess of Frailty, Save Your Bloodshed, Unsheathed to stop the go against sources for warriors. Yeah, definitely a very big upgrade for Oscilio, and I'll talk a bit more about it in the tier list. Then we also have Cheating Scoundrel. I think this card made the pirate heroes, as in Marlynn and Puffin, a lot more scary. Getting a buff and gold generation is definitely nothing to scoff at, and you see both of the decks playing it. Gravy maybe gets to use this card, but yeah. Then Crown of Everbloom, very good piece for Verdance and Jarl. Especially now Oscilio is doing very well. Just getting the extra AB. Verdance can now play AB5, and the effect is also like really good if you want to play very defensively versus Oscilio, getting your arsenal back in your hand, and Spellbane Aegis token, which is essentially Spell Void 1, just really powerful. So Verdance, not the only thing she got, the Limbs of Lignum Vitae. Yeah, what can I say? Just an earth equipment that helps you decompose. Stonewall Gauntlet was the former equipment that was used the most, but yeah, this is just a nice upgrade. Doesn't stop there. Elemental Strike. One of Verdance's weaknesses was she couldn't really convert her hand, so if you pass turn, she usually could only make use with 2 or 3 cards, and now you have Elemental Strike, and it works with Colors of Area. So if you banish this to Elemental Strike, you get all 3 modes, since it's Earth, Ice and Lightning, so it'll become 7, go again, dominate, which is insane. And it also makes it so that Verdance has 1 Earth in banish already, which is good for your Phalanx and your Plows. Since if you then banish 3 Earth cards to them, they'll get their buff already, so yeah. And then 1 card, Pilfer the Tomb. I think this card will keep Gravy at bay. But yeah, I'll talk a bit about it later. So let's just go straight to the tier list. Let's go straight to the hero I think is best deck, and I think it's still, or not still rather, I think it's Arachne Marionette. So why not Oscilio? So of course Oscilio got a huge upgrade in Wobble, so you'd think yeah, he's definitely the best deck. But I feel like now that Oscilio is known to be a good deck by everyone, and also Wobble got a lot of attention back to it, I feel like everyone is running 3 amulets. And I've said in the previous video that like yeah, you can't really target Oscilio that well except with amulet, but you have to find amulet before they find the Golden Flash, etc. It starts to become a little bit harder if everyone is playing 3 amulets. And the matchup I'm definitely scared of the most as Oscilio, which might sound a bit weird, is Verdance now, because I feel like with Oscilio it's just super hard to get over the top with Verdance, who plays AB5, 3 amulets. Yeah, I'm not sure Oscilio is the best deck. So Mario, I think, is just extremely solid overall. It has the spiky turns with Save Your Bloodshed, Codex of Frailty, as the Codexes of Inertia. This deck just has good matchups all across the board. It can win against Verdance, it can win against Oscilio. Also plays amulets. I think this deck just has the tools to be able to win against every deck in a meta game. Like for sure there are some decks you'd rather not see, like Prism. Gravy is still a bit difficult, but yeah, Gravy got nerfed a lot, so yeah. But yeah, I think I wouldn't be able to name one matchup that is like completely doomed for Mario. And for that reason, I think Mario is just the best deck. Also, just has a very easy way finishing the game with attack reacts. Just super strong cards overall. Just a very solid best deck, I would say. Now, second best deck, I think, is Verdance. So Verdance with all the new upgrades, definitely a lot stronger because, like I said, her weakness of not being able to convert her full hand is now a bit gone. Like Elemental Strike is such a powerhouse in her, and like with the other small buffs that she got, like the crown, like the arm piece that you can block with, make decompose easier. It just makes her so much more consistent and so much better. And Verdance is also known to not be very hard to play, since most hands kind of play themselves. You block with 2 cards, you send 2 cards. Like, of course, there's some nuance to it, and you can definitely master Verdance as well. But I feel like Verdance just being such a gatekeeper also for some decks like Guardian. She has the potion combo, she can't really be fatigued. She has basically a chance into every deck. She's still like the Storm Striders. It's just always when you play Verdance, you feel that impending doom of that Storm Strider's turn coming. Because you can't go to 9 life, because you just essentially die. And another thing that makes Verdance so much better, I think, is that Gravy got hit so hard. That kind of was one of the only decks that kept Verdance in check. Because, Gravy against Verdance was pretty hard for Verdance. But now, even if Gravy were to rise up again, you have this card. You can just add to your sideboard, right? So, looking at Toulouse and Montreal, I think this deck will be very highly represented. So, I could be wrong, of course, but I think this is just the perfect calling deck, right? It's easy to pick up, a lot of good matchups, easy to play, a lot of clear game plans into different decks. So I think she's very good and has a good matchup in Oscilio. She can win against Mario, so I think it's a very good deck. And then the last deck in S tier, I think, of course, Oscilio has to be up there. He got the new card, Wobble, which is, of course, great. You can counter your amulets, you can counter the Save Your Bloodshed, Codex of Frailties, like a big upgrade since he already plays Sigils anyway, so his Wobble will be online for a lot of time, and it's an instant, so you can just cycle it away with Oscilio, and there isn't really a big cost in playing it. So what can I say? Like, this deck feels a bit like the big bad in a metagame, simply because the games you lose are so uninteractive, right? We've all experienced that Gon and Flash combo at turn 2, where your opponent just deals 41 damage and you can't do anything. Like, that's just the thing that this deck can consistently do. A good Oscilio, because it's definitely hard to play, hard to master. A good Oscilio who can make use of every interaction in the deck. I feel like we'll really have a good chance in any calling coming up. Only thing, and that's again why I'm not putting him as best deck or second best deck, is everyone knows this deck is good. Everyone is targeting him with amulets or hand disruption in Mario. And Oscilio can also just stumble, right? Like, of course, you have the big, like, turn 1 or 0 for Oscilio can be really nuts, like putting Sigil of Brilliances on the board, like Channel Mount, or a Channel Lightning Valley on the board. Like, he gets a lot of value, he can set up really well. But you also have some hands where you have no instants, so you can't cycle. You just have to play them. So him being able to stumble a bit as well, like, the best way to explain it is, like, his turns overall are a bit less good than most decks, but his good turns are way better than all other decks, so it kind of meets somewhere in the middle there. I definitely think Oscilio's S tier, just not the best deck, but I definitely expect a lot out of him in the upcoming meta. Then, Dio. I still feel like I keep saying it, but I think Dio is so slept on at the moment. And, like, of course, people know she's good, but I think she's really good. And again, in this set, she got the new update, the blue boost card that attacks for 1, gives your next attack you boost +2. That's just a perfect card for Dio to push through boom grenades. Just makes it so 2 cards are very hard to block. And what makes Dio so attractive in this mana is not only is she I think, pretty good into Mario. Mario can fatigue her, she can disrupt her, like when she's setting up, of course. I think she's overall pretty good into Mario. But a huge factor in her being good is that Oscilio is good. And Dio is very good into Oscilio, because Oscilio can't block. And decks that cannot block will have a very bad time into Dio. And Dio can play no time zone. Dio can play Stasis Cell to turn off the lightning greaves of Oscilio. All the breakpoints are just a nightmare for Oscilio to deal with. One thing though, one side note, is Oscilio does have Wobble now, which does counter null time zone, which does counter Spark of Genius, so Oscilio got a lot more tools, but for sure I think Dio is still a top contender in this meta, and especially if you know what you're doing. Then against Verdance it's also pretty doable, I would say. So yeah, Dio I would place at number 4. Then Kayo, I don't think he'll be here for very long, but I do think he's very good at the moment. Just Kayo has a solid matchup into Mario. He can win against Verdance, it's not favored by any means. And he has a decent matchup in Oscilio. And like a 50-50 matchup into Dio. It's like, yeah, Kayo does unfair stuff still with Bloodrush Bellow. I think might be a bit slept on, but yeah, we're all expecting him to leave the meta game soon, so yeah. I would say he's in 5th place. So yeah, then to talk a bit about the decks that come next. I've heard, and here's where I'm getting a little bit, like these 5, I'm like, not like that sure, but I'm like pretty sure these decks are the 5 best decks in the metagame. Now there are some decks that are coming up, like you have Marlynn, who got a lot of upgrades, you have Puffin, but you also have Fi, and I think I would probably put Fi here, just because he got the new Art of War. Like I've played a little bit against Fi, and I do think the new Art of War card is a big upgrade, since you get to go over the top so much. It works very well with Ignite. It works very well with Rise from the Ashes to get the Phoenix Flame out of the graveyard. And the new card, that's 1 for 2, go again. And you can discard a Phoenix Flame to give it +2 and draw a card. Forgot its name, but that card can be searched with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. And it's just very good overall, right? So you set up this like insane combo turn. You've gotten a lot of spike potential, and you got like a ton of new cards. So I've not seen the Fi build yet, but I think there is one out there, definitely with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx. I don't know if a lot of people watching this have played a few years ago, but Fi with Mask of the Pouncing Lynx was an absolute menace. Also won Worlds a few years ago, like everyone was playing Fi. It was like the best aggro deck by far. Those shades of Fi are coming back a bit. Now we also have some other very strong heroes like Dio, Oscilio, Mario. And like I think Oscilio is doing pretty well into Fi. But the reason I'm not as big of a believer in him is that the Art of War thing, it is strong, but it is not as strong as I thought it would be. And you have a lot of random hate for your Phoenix Flame, like Verdance can put it on the bottom of your deck. It's just not really as special as made out to be. Like I'm not a big believer in Fi, but I do think a lot of people will play him, and I do think the turns that he'll play are a bit scary, so you can definitely lose to him. So I would say he's about here for now. Alright. Then I think I would place Prism here. So Prism also got extremely big buffs this set. They got the equipment that blocks 1 has AB1, and after it goes into your soul. Like that's insane for Prism, since Prism wants 2 soul to get to activate Soraya, draw 2 cards with it. Like she always wants to do that. So, and her arm piece wasn't very contested, so yeah, it's just a perfect perfect card for her. And she also got a Herald, yellow, 7 attack, 2 cost. And you can discard it to give your opponent's cards -1. And it's not only on your own turn to stop the poppers, but also on your opponent's turn to give their attacks -1. So against a 5, for example, who goes extremely wide, that will do a lot. So yeah, I'm not a Prism expert myself, but like the general feeling I'm getting and like hearing a bit from players that I do know who play Prism is that she's very strong, but the one thing that is still a bit scary for her is that Kayo is still around in this metagame, and Kayo against Prism, Kayo has so many good poppers. So yeah, that's just something that holds Prism back a bit, but I'm 100% sure that Prism is still extremely powerful in this meta. So I would place her like 7th place. Then what would I place? I think I want to talk about Gravy. I'll put him at B tier, okay? I think there's more heroes in A tier, but I'm like I want to talk about Gravy because I feel like he's dead, okay? Gravy is dead, and I've been saying it for a while. Like, I hope to be proven wrong in Montreal. Like, I know few people will still be on Gravy, but I just think that the rules change, the chart nerf, and now this card. Like, you cannot play around this card. If people start to bring this in against you, you'll get blown out so hard by it. That said, I do still think he's a playable hero. Of course, you can have the nuts turns. You can have the leyline turns with Conqueror. Right? He's definitely a viable deck, but one of the best contenders, I don't really think so. And the fact that Gravy is low makes it so other decks like Verdance and Mario are on top. I do still think I'm not completely giving up that there might be a build out there with this card. I do maybe think you could make something like that with him, because this is gold generation, right? That's very good for Gravy. But I haven't really tried myself yet, so yeah, I think it's B tier now. Alright, the deck I would do after Prism is Kassai. Kassai did very well at the first calling in Hong Kong. Shoma piloted her to top 8, and since then she's been a bit on the back burner again. But I think her playing 3 amulets does wonders against Oscilio. Like, you can just win games with it. She's an okay matchup against Mario, and she's just a solid deck overall, right? So I think I'd place her here. Then I think I'm gonna pick 3 more decks because I feel like already the tier list is becoming a bit too big. But a few decks I do want to talk about. One is Marlynn for sure. Like Marlynn, the weird thing always is, like, in Living Legends she's such a powerhouse. I mean, in the afterworlds people look back on it a bit different, but like in Living Legends she definitely was a contender. Then in CC she wasn't. But yeah, it makes sense because in CC she doesn't have the cash-ins and Art of Wars, so that of course nerfs her a bit, but she still has like 3 of a kind. She still has Codex, and now she also got a lot of upgrades with the new Cheating Scoundrel buff. She got the new arrow, or a harpoon I should say, that destroys the arsenal on hit. She's definitely a scary deck, and against like Oscilio could be scary. So yeah, I think I would place her around here in A tier. Definitely a deck that I'd be scared to see, since like the 3 of a kind turns are crazy, right? Like where she blocks with 2 cards and then sends the 3 of a kind, he draws a harpoon, and then the disruption sometimes does nothing, sometimes it hits the perfect card. Yeah, that's just really scary. And then the last hero I wanna put in A tier, I'd say is Puffin. And this is not really my decision, but I've talked with a friend of mine a lot, Jasper, and he thinks she's very good. I don't see it at all, because today is I made like a Puffin list. I tried it out myself with the new Cheating Scoundrel card, which is of course very good for her, since gold in Puffin is essentially like drawing an extra card for nothing with Polly. But yeah, I just see a lot of weaknesses in the list still. Like, feels like there's so many moving parts with making golden cogs, and then they leave, and if you have no gold or cogs, you can just brick super hard. Like, you need 3 cogs preferably for Palantir for it to be really good. I think she definitely got a lot of upgrades. I think she's getting scary, and she can definitely win some games. But yeah, I think she's not quite there yet. And then another deck, I should talk about this deck, because I forgot it in the last tier list video as well, is Cindra. I think I would place her here. I think Cindra is super overlooked right now. There's probably still a build out there. Like, of course, she got, like, her starters got nerfed super hard. But she's still, like, I don't think we realize how broken Flick Knives is. Like, I learned this at Worlds, where, like, wait, Flick Knives does 10 damage in a game sometimes. Like, she still can do that. So, for sure, I think there's still a Cindra deck out there. I just think we need to rebuild the list in a way that it's not about just playing every hand with take the tempos and like attack the targets. I think we need to slow down a bit, play a bit more D-reacts, maybe play Furnace as well, and that could still be good. So yeah, I would place her somewhere here. So yeah, you see already, A tier is getting really big. Like, I think some of these decks are definitely way better than others. But yeah, I think this would be about where he plays most of the heroes. Okay, then definitely some heroes I still want to talk about, because like there's a lot still left, and there's a lot of viable ones still left. I'll start with Fang, the Fang gang. Fang got a huge upgrade in Blunton, which also Kassai favors a lot. I have it here somewhere. Well, Blunton, perfect card for Fang, right? Yellow, 2 blocks, kind of sad, but if you defend a weapon attack, the opponent discards a card. Perfect against Mario, Kayo, like a lot of deck it booms. It's just that as long as Oscilio is a real contender in a meta, I don't think Fang is viable. It's just, I've even had game. I play 3 amulets in Fang, as one does, of course. I do my duties against Oscilio, but even through amulets, Oscilio can combo very easily because you have no AB. Like, decks that can't run AB against Oscilio are just so doomed. So I definitely think there's a Fang build out there, and I definitely think he could be good. But as long as Oscilio is one of the top decks, I just don't think he's viable. So yeah, I wouldn't place him in A tier now. Like, if I were to place him, I would like maybe a bit above Gravy, right? Or maybe below even. And then Katsu got a ton of upgrades. I think there's definitely a Katsu build out there. He got like the card that makes a Crouching Tiger, gives a it's like a reaction that gives a card +1 and you make a Crouching Tiger in your hand, so it's just an extra copy of Ancestral Harmony in most cases, because you can discard the tiger to Katsu's ability. Yeah, Katsu seems really good, and the thing that makes Katsu good is the Oscilio matchup. Let me tell you, you don't wanna see a Katsu, but with like Disruption being on top of the meta, Verdance, all the D reacts that stop the first hit from Katsu. Yeah, I'm not seeing it for Katsu to be like a real contender. And then some few interesting ones. Victor, for sure, maybe put him here. Like, he's very good, but as long as Verdance is one of the most represented decks, which I think it will be, I think Victor is just straight up unplayable, because like that matchup, Victor against Verdance, is like an actual 0%er for Victor. Like, there you either need your opponent to make a mistake, but if they don't make a mistake, you just cannot win. Like a Verdance that knows how to pitch deck the combo, she cannot lose against Victor. Like I can see some weird universe where it can happen, but yeah, if Verdance were to leave, for sure Victor would be better. But also with Oscilio still here, it's like, yeah, it's a solid deck into like Dio, into like Mario. You can win. Fi is good, but Prism isn't even like good. Prisms can beat Victor, right? So yeah, I would place him there. And then a deck that gained a lot of traction lately, Pleiades. I don't think it's that good anymore. And the reason I think it's not that good is that I first thought Pleiades would beat Mario, but turns out that she just doesn't have enough D-Reacts to stop Mario. So yeah. And you can see that experienced Oscilio just always beats Pleiades. Verdance has the potion combo. If she knows how to pitch deck it, you cannot win as Pleiades. So yeah, if you cannot win against the top decks, what are you doing, right? So yeah, there's potential, and she got like a new card that stops opponents from drawing. That's very good, but yeah, I can't really see it. Dorinthia, I don't know a lot about her, but I imagine she's somewhere here. And then Jarl, it's like my my passion project. Like I tried to make a deck with Jarl, like when the set first released, because it was like, oh my god, Elemental Strike with the new Colors of Aria and Jarl. That's so broken because you can play Felling for 8 and you have the new Shield Beater weapon, attacks for 5, and you can remove counters from your Stalagmite, so you're very good into aggro. Turns out, a weapon that attacks for 5 costs 4 isn't really what you want. Like, I would have games where I would get fatigued. I'm the Guardian, right? That is just bad. You need to swing your weapon as much. You need to swing your weapon as much as possible. And yeah, so I definitely think there is a Jarl build somewhere, and he can be scary. But maybe after Verdance leaves, because yeah, again, she gatekeeps a lot of the Guardians. So yeah, I think I'll keep it here from now. I think there are some decks that are worth talking about, like Vincent. Huntsman got a lot of upgrades. Teklo got a lot of upgrades. I don't think Teklo's good. Let me just put him straight here, right? I don't think he's good. But there are some other decks that are worth talking about, but I just don't know a lot about them. Like the decks that are here, I've at least played a bunch of times, so I kind of know what I'm talking about. But yeah, if I were to rate the other decks, it would just not make would not make a lot of sense. But yeah, I think this is the meta. The top 5 I'm like pretty sure about is correct, and then the rest is a bit vibe space. So yeah, I hope this maybe helps for either Montreal if you're going there, or at Calling Toulouse. I think if I were to look a deck right now, if Toulouse were tomorrow, I'd pick Mario, like straight up. But yeah, that was it. The last thing I do want to say, I made my first article on TCGplayer, and I'm so proud of it, and I'm so happy and excited. I spent a lot of time on this article and put a lot of love into it. I said some shared some personal stories as well. I hope some people can relate to what I said. So yeah, I'll put the link in the description. I hope you guys read it. If the article does well, it means I get to write more. So yeah, please support it, because I really like writing stuff, and especially for such a cool big site as TCGplayer, it's been an honor. So yeah, yeah, that was it. Keeping the weekly streak going, and see you guys next week. Later.